G'day everyone, welcome to the FOGS Queenslander Podcast, our preview of Origin 2, Queensland versus New South Wales in Perth on Wednesday night. As usual, I'm joined by Wally Lewis, Trevor Gillmeister and Matt Gillett. Good afternoon, boys, and this is Game 2 is always a critical one, particularly when you've lost game number 1. Your thoughts on the Queensland team, boys?
Yeah, they had to make some changes, and there's no doubt about that, but I mean, you know, I think DCE is probably a little bit hard done by, but we've got to get Tommy Dearden into the game. So I understand where Billy's coming from as well. So probably Bo Firma is probably the unluckiest forward around, I suppose, at the moment, under 15 minutes or so. So pretty unlucky, but yeah, hopefully we can bounce back in Perth.
Yeah, I agree with Gilly. DCE, there's a little bit of criticism already starting to come out about the Maroons not being loyal. I don't really see that as a problem for them, but certainly he's had a wonderful career in a Queensland jersey, done extremely well, been extremely creative, and I think that there did need to be some changes made. And, you know, whilst we're probably getting a bit nasty if we're bringing the age into it, we've got to remember there was some wonderful performers at 35, 36 years of age previously. So, but this time around, they're in a position where they can't afford to have anything else except success.
And I think it's fair to say too, Gillo, it's not just one game we're talking about. You're looking back to the last 2 games of last year, no doubt the selectors as well, then when they were coming out with this side.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Obviously, it's a thought process there that Billy's had to, sit back and really have a good think about which way he wants to take this team, the direction they want to go, and I feel for DC, he's a good mate of mine, and he's done that Queensland jersey very proud. He's achieved so much in that arena, but again, Bill's got a vision to go out and win this game, and we know what Tommy's capable of. He's quite the competitor out in the footy field. He gets stuff done. So I'm hoping, this little change there with DC and Dearden, we can get away with a win. So it's going to be interesting. But again, regardless if we didn't change or we did change, we're going to have to be on top of our game to win over there in Perth. We're seeing what New South Wales can bring. So it's about, making those final little changes to put a good performance in.
I think they marked too, where like DCE and obviously Munster as well, and Ponga didn't have much. I mean, our forwards need to be better, mate. There's, we got to face facts there, and that's the big plus for for any team. Doesn't matter whether it's Origin or whatever. When your forwards are going, pretty good, your halves got more of a chance, and your fullback, and and your dummy half, and stuff like that as well. And a couple of our blokes. And I'll be blunt about it, that if DCE got dropped, there's probably another 6 or 7 of them that should have been looking over their shoulder as well, because hopefully that never happens again. But 6 or 7 of them didn't have their best game either, as well. Yeah. So, and I mean, and I'm a huge Harry Grant fan. I've been ever since he's come in, but that wasn't Harry's best either. He wasn't the only one. But there was a few blokes I thought, were way down on their best.
I got a few awards for Player of the Match, but every time I did, I used to say it was because of the creativity of the forwards, the amount of territory they managed to make up the middle, and could not have done it without them. Certainly, the forwards they got knocked around a little bit. Yeah. They were dictated to, and certainly it was a slugfest that unfortunately we didn't win. And in Origin matches, you only get to be able to be in control of the scoreboard if your big 6 up front look after everything for you and make life nice and comfortable for the back line.
See, the thing about the dropping of Daly Cherry Evans too is it's taken away from the changes that he did make Billy Slater in the forwards. There's not much discussion about the fact that Pat Carrigan's gone back to the bench. Liero's going to start. Kurt Capewell comes in. A little bit more size in the back row. Your thoughts on that, Gillo?
Yeah, I think, Gilly just said about some players not performing in game 1. They're here in game 2, and they're going to want to repay their teammates, their state, and pick up their performance. No doubt, it's going to be hurting, and to lose game one on home territory, to really make a statement there on that night. We probably didn't step up to that standard. So, but with these, a couple of changes, I think putting Carrigan to the bench probably a good thing. We can, back some punch off the bench, which what Carrigan can do. And also you've got Trent Liero there starting, so I'm thinking having him there, they might want to use that footy a bit more through that middle, and a bit of change direction through our middle third of the field, because I thought we were a bit sort of lateral, going sideways with a lot of movement, and when our halves were getting the ball out the back, we're going a bit more lateral. So maybe that's the plan with Liero in the middle to make some space through that middle with a bit of change of direction, a bit of ball carrying there, and then obviously Paddy to come on and do his job and make that real impact.
You know what I'd be doing, Mark, if I was Billy? I'd be putting Ruben Cotter on Isaiah Yeo. I'd be saying, because Isaiah Yeo is, mate, he's one of the best forwards. Like, mate, what a great player.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and he wasn't ball playing, right? So he was running every time, right? So, and they played together in the Australian side, so they know each other's game pretty well. So, Ruben Cotter, I'd be just saying, let Trent get out a little bit wider and do a little bit of ball playing and defensively get out a little bit on the edge. But Ruben, Yeo is your man. Every time he gets the ball, you're going to chop him down every time, so he keeps getting off the ground, because he's a big, strong man, and you watch how many tackles he stands in. Yep. He stands and they don't put him on the ground well.
And Ruben's half his size.
Yeah. And be getting in there and getting into those thighs.
Take the legs out.
Exactly, and make sure he gets up off the ground. So, I mean, that's what I would have done.
The dominance New South Wales displayed in Game 1 was there to see by half time, and I think we were starting to think, oh no, this, let's... Anyway, the best thing that could have happened was the halftime break, and let's hope we get to be able to come out in the second half and be able to dictate terms. That wasn't the case, unfortunately, but it was... It wasn't a poor performance from the Queensland team. They all had a go. They had a real dig, but it was a wonderful performance from New South Wales forward, and I hate saying it, but they just dictated terms right from the outset of the game.
So therefore, the pressure is on Tino and Mo Fotuaika. If they're the two starting front rowers, do you think Lindsay Collins might think about changing? Mo was a little bit quiet in that first stint last week. Any thought about Lindsay Collins maybe?
I wouldn't be surprised if he did start with Lindsay, because you've got to remember Lindsay was short of a gallop too. And Harry Grant was short of a gallop as well. We had 3 or 4 forwards that hadn't played a lot of footy. So now hopefully they've got a few more games under their belt since Game 1. So hopefully now they've got that match fitness and they've got that confidence to go. Oh, okay, right. I can go. I go full bore, blow my out, and then go really hard and get a spell and then go again. So I think hopefully Lindsay's in that frame of mind.
And Mark, if I was to change one thing about the game as well, it'd be the kicking game. Just kick the living daylights out of the ball until you get the forwards saying to you, if you kick the ball again, you a-hole, I'll kick you right in the head. That's when you know that if your own forwards are doing it a little bit tough in chasing the kicks through, the opposition are doing it even more tough. Because they're turning around and they're getting back to get in the position of carting the ball away. And if you can, again, bring that line in, dictate terms to the opposition, make you play the game that you want them to play. They won't enjoy it.
No, Moses, he'll be like...
A big loss,
100% right. Yeah. So Nathan Cleary's got a great kicking game, but I don't think Luai has the same distance.
It'll be a different New South Wales in that respect, won't it?
Yeah, because obviously they've played... Mate, you go Yeo, Dylan Edwards, Liam Martin, Luai and Nathan Cleary. They won 4 grand finals together. I think they know each other's game pretty well.
And I think Jerome will be that excited about coming back to play with them as well. So we'll get to New South Wales in a moment. But I want to ask you about how Queensland changes the way it plays with Tommy Dearden at halfback as opposed to Daly Cherry Evans. 2 different types of players. You alluded to it, I think, before, Gillo, about directness. Is that what you see from Tommy Dearden more than DCE?
Yeah, I do, mate. I think that we know we can get some real value going through their middle third, and obviously emptying their gas tanks with the players that we have the capability of bringing into the game. Like if we've got Pongo and bring him into the game through that middle, like it's going to be hard to get your hands on him. So I think with Tommy there, we know he likes to take the line on. He's a ball runner. So I think bringing Tommy in there, and like I mentioned before, Trent Liera as well, just he's got a bit of skill there with his hands. So just changing up the angles through that middle, getting some legs tackles, and then on the back of that we can bring Ponga into the game. We can bring Tommy Dearden into it. Munster can get his hands on the ball and do his things. Game one, I don't think we got the opportunity to do that. We were happy to pass instead of looking up and trying to knock down their door.
I think I said too. Sorry, Walt. I didn't really like how the game was refereed. To be honest, honestly, I was sitting with people, and it was, I shouldn't say boring, but he didn't let the game flow. New South Wales was a better team, without a doubt. That, don't get me wrong, right? So. But the way the game was stop-start, mate, honestly, Klein, put your whistle in your pocket, champ.
It's not about you, mate.
For some penalties that we don't normally see in Origin blown.
Holy moly, that was, honestly, and I'm sitting in the crowd with people and they're going, is this an Origin game? You know what I mean?
As a player, you know that. The club and the Origin's always going to be ref different, and you're in for the battle. It's going to be more constant. You're going
and
to
if
be
it's a 50-50 call, play on, son.
Yeah. And
away you go.
And the finest State of Origin games have been the ones that the referee lets flow.
Yeah.
3-2 penalty counts or 2-1 penalty counts. Or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and people will... They mightn't enjoy the result at the end if your team loses.
Yeah.
But what they do enjoy is the standard of the game, the pace of the game,
100%,
and how it was. It was a wonderful opportunity to for both teams to basically earn the win.
Well, hopefully someone said to him, mate, you need to put your whistle in your pocket a little bit more. Like fair income, that was.
We'll find out soon enough, I suppose. Now, gentlemen, Queensland will have its 16th captain on Wednesday night, Cameron Munster. 2 of our 15 are sitting here with us, Trevor Gillmeister and Wally Lewis. What will be going through Cameron Munster's mind leading out a Queensland side? What was it like doing that for the first time, Wal?
The first time?
Yeah.
I was petrified. I was 21 years of age, I think, at the time. And I remember when... Arthur said that you're going to be captain, and it was only because he had an injury, and I kept disagreeing with it, and saying, no, mate, it should be. And he took it, and he just said, you're peeing in my own pocket here. He said, you're a born leader. Lead the way. He said, those players behind you will follow. And it was at the end of the game where we sort of sat back and had a look at it, and we were pretty happy. I was quite happy with it, but I found that over the next couple of years, it wasn't all enjoyable times in the position as captain, and you find that sometimes you've got to take some rather embarrassing steps at different times to try and change the focus of the game, to try and change the way that it's going, and whilst it wasn't all that wasn't all that comfortable to be doing it, I loved every bit of it. Loved it because it was a challenge that gets put in front of you, and for the one game, or 2 games that you think I'm just being a little bit lazy here, you can't do that as a captain, and I think that proved to be my greatest challenge of all.
What about you, Gil?
Oh yeah, it was a great privilege. Honestly, we went out to Sydney. It was my first game, and and it was and I mean, lucky enough to play with this bloke, and he was a great captain, and and then Mel and a few other good captains as well, Alf, and those blokes. So it's an honour. There's no doubt about it, and something you look back on down the track. You don't think too much about it. And I was a bit like, I was a bit, oh yeah, okay, and then. Once we started training a bit more and you start talking to the blokes, and we had 9 debutants in our team that year, so just getting around to them, having a bit of a yarn to those blokes and making sure they felt comfortable was more the point. So, because I said, mate, once we get out in the field, I can't help you.
You don't just set a challenge for the players to follow, you set a challenge for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're 100% right.
You're petrified that you're going to make a mistake.
But you want to lead the way, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
That's what he.
You want to lead the way and be able to do it. And there were times, different games where I played where the players got to hate me halfway through it. There were times when we played it in the wet, and I was just kicking the living daylights out of the ball on the first tackle. And I can remember Fatty blowing up Deluxe one game. He said, "Will you stop kicking the ball?" And he said, "That was just the first tackle. You've kicked the ball." And we went down. We put a hit on in the defence. Ball got turned over. We scored and came back. And I did the Fatty like that. I said, "Wrong one, was it?" And he just shrugged the shoulders. But there are different times where the decision making process it gets tested. But if it's in the right manner and you're quite comfortable with what you're doing in the leadership role, I think it's fantastic. You're saving the other guys there the chance to make their minds up or feel uncomfortable about what they produce.
Sometimes they say the higher you go, the less influence a captain can have or whatever on games. But to me, in Origin, it is really critical when you talk about, yourself, Wally and Gilly, that leader, Cameron Smith, for example, Matt. A leader at that level can be make or break, can't it?
Mm. I think it's the big thing is too, like, shouldn't change your demeanour too much as well. I mean, they know the difference between, come on, let's go, let's get into these blokes, or, but not panicking. Yeah. That's what I think. Because, I mean, I remember him saying, give me a little rocket a couple of times. You need to get to my inside. And I didn't get there once, and he give me the... and I was going, okay, well, that was enough.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I made sure I was there next time. You know what I mean? So, but, it's about... and again, everyone's different. Some blokes need a bit more of that. And some blokes need, hey, come here, let's go. Pull your finger out, and but it's trying to pick their personalities. I think is too, which is a good thing. But the blokes, lucky enough, they were jumping out of their skin, because they, just wanted to. It was there, as I said, 9 debutants, and we had a pretty good forward pack and tough forward pack, and I knew that's where we were going to try and win the game.
What sort of a captain do you think Cam Munster's going to be?
Mate, I think he's definitely going to be leading by his actions out in the field, and I've heard him talk about it as well. Matty Ballin actually said once, Munster's come back into camp this year, he's got that bit of a presence about him now, and he's probably one of the players that you want to have their hands on the ball when the game is on the line. So I think hopefully he doesn't have to change who he is, like Gilly's just mentioned there. He's been given the captaincy for a reason. He's got to go out there and do his job, and not have to think that he has to be go above and beyond what he's already been doing. But I'd like to see him, when that game's on the line, to get his hands on the ball and, like Wally's mentioned, make that kick, that perfect inch kick into the corner, and then you can turn your attack your defence into attack by kicking long into those corners. But he's definitely a player that's going to lead by actions, and we didn't see much of him that first game, and again, no doubt they've changed the way they're going to play and bring Munster and the likes of into the game with a bit more freedom through that middle.
His creativity is something that is a natural thing about his game. He doesn't have to come up with new levels of creativity. He just needs to produce the sort of style that's got him such wonderful reports in previous games. The only thing that he's got to do, and Gilly, sometimes as a captain, it's not what you say to the players, it's what you lead with. And just carting the ball forward. There was one game where I think I took up 3 rucks out of the 6, and all the forwards started screaming, he doesn't do that. We've got to do all the work. And I thought, there it is. They've just sort of all volunteered for the services, and we went on to record a wonderful victory.
We've spoken a bit about the forwards and what Queensland, forwards have to do to lay that platform for Dearden and Munster. What are your hopes / expectations for the Queensland backline? It didn't get many opportunities in game 1. It hasn't scored many points in the last three games. We've got Hammer playing in the centres where he normally plays at fullback, and Kalen Ponga's been struggling a bit. Yeah. What are your expectations?
Well, it's not rocket science. It's like we were saying before, it's the forwards. We just our forwards need to get more of a flow on, and as I said, the ref again stay out of the game, champ, and get the rest of our forwards. I'd like to see us to do a little bit more around the dummy half, like Harry Grant, cross cut little cross plays and things like that, rather than we just went one out too much, and New South Wales gobbled that up. So if we can get a little tip on here and there, just to create a little bit of doubt in their mind, who's getting the footy, and they get 2 or 3 in the tackle, and the play the ball was too slow sometimes. So we need to get that little tip on, or Harry Grant getting down, twisting blokes under and stuff like that. So just like to see a bit more, difference in the dummy half.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they take control, particularly in the forwards. That's where the game will be decided. They've got
that first stint too of the match.
For exactly, sure. Mate. You hit the nail on the head there, and they've got as good a back three at the scrum as New South Wales have ever had, ever. They're a fantastic group. I get the impression that some of them could be playing against their mother, and they just smash the living daylights out of her and would wait until full time till asking how she's going. The amount of work that they get through and the example that sets for the others in the forward pack, and also the guys that come in to do the work from the back line, and particularly their wingers, who that work rate was something quite extraordinary.
Now, a question that a lot of people have been asking, talking about since game number 1, and a yes or no. I think I know the answer from maybe all 3 of you. When Spencer Leniu comes on, do you kick to Spencer from the kickoff or not? Gilly, I'll start with you.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid question. Stupid question.
Gilly bring back the old skill. Just a little...
Yeah, of course you do. You know what I mean?
Little forearm, little slip.
Set the standard. I'd like to see Wally kick off and follow through and tackle him.
Do you think Queensland missed the trick a bit there in game 1, or was that a mindset thing?
Oh, no. I can understand what... Yep. That they go, that takes the air out of the, the whole situation.
But in game 2, things are different.
Oh, you're 100% right. It is. Yeah, and so and that Billy's obviously had a plan. They were going to kick it this way because they've got 2 or 3 of their best players on that side, and they're going to shift it, whatever and stuff like that. But sometimes you just got to take all that out of the equation and just go with your heart and just go. We're going to rip in here and. Bring your best. I'm going to bring my best. You bring your best, and we'll see what happens.
The cold hard facts are, if things aren't going your way, you change it. You dictate terms. You make them play the game the way that you want it to be played. You want them to be as uncomfortable as possible.
You wouldn't have done that.
I would have said, get off your lazy fat ass, Kelly. Get up there and do some more work. You and Fatty.
Massive talking point, hasn't it?
It has. And I mean, it's what Origin's all about, isn't it?
Of course it
to
is.
impose yourself on the opposition.
Our middle forwards have had a conversation about what needs to be done there. So, again, it's got to, everyone's got a game plan, and sometimes you don't have to stick to it unless if you see something and you feel something out in the field to make that statement or, create something and show the boys that we're here to play. Maybe it is a good idea to kick down to him and see how he goes.
Couldn't agree more.
I know I might be accused of being a little bit melodramatic, and maybe I am with this next question or statement, but is this the biggest game for Queensland potentially since 2006 and the Darren Lockyer try at the MCG with the Hodgson Pass? The fact that Queensland's lost 3 in a row and a loss means 2 series back-to-back, etc. How big is Wednesday night?
Oh, it's huge, isn't it? It's got to be. I mean, we don't like losing anyway, full stop. But I mean, as you said, 3 in a row, series on the line, and we can do it. There's no doubt about that. I just hope they got the right mindset. That positive mindset that everyone's beatable. And out you go. And it'll be interesting to see. I think our start's going to be huge, massive. I reckon the first 10, 15 minutes. If we start with a good positive mindset and as Wal said, kicking it down there and then their corners and they're coming off their line a bit more for that first 10, 15 minutes. I think it'll give our blokes a little bit of a boost, and then Carrick and like those type of blokes who'll come back on and have a bit of punch and that. So what he said was 100% right about changing the whole, the bend of the game. You know what I mean? If you get that little boost and that little kick along and here we go, and that's why we go.
And just play the game the way that you want it to be played, and try and deny them the opportunity of enjoying it. Kick the living daylights out of the ball. Kick the out of it every chance you get, so that it might be on the second tackle, and you're standing up close. You'll notice that the halfback, and that was the way it was in game one. The fullback was about 10 metres in behind, and he's given the go this way, go that way, go that way. And I thought, here's a golden opportunity. Kick the ball out. You'll make 50 metres. They'll probably get 10 in the return, but you've got them placed where you want them to be on the field.
Well, Gillett would know that. Cam Smith, he'd kick out from dummy half sometimes at the second or third tackle. Yeah. And I was lucky enough to stand back there sometimes and watch on the field and go, how good's that? You know what I mean? He just comes out and everyone was the big line just going forward, and the New South Wales are going, you could see him going, their heads drop, you know what I mean?
Every time he did it, you knew he was
exactly
doing it for a reason.
right.
He'd always identify the fullbacks that would chase their own. So New South Wales fullback would chase the kick hard and make the first two tackles, so they're obviously a bit fatigued. So you pick up on that little thing, bang, into the corner.
Well, especially from dummy half, everyone's on side.
And it's remarkable how when the chasing team, you feel like you're running downhill, and if you're trying to get back there for the hit up, you feel like you're running uphill as well. It's remarkable how that psychology works. Okay, gentlemen, we got it wrong in game number one. Let's see what we can do in game number two. Obviously, all tipping Queensland to win, but who's going to win the man of the match in game number? Who's going to star for the Maroons in Perth?
I'm going to go Cam Munster.
Skip.
I know our forwards need.
It's been a while since the number 6 wearing captain won a man of the match award.
I think he'll relish being captain, and hopefully he doesn't put too much pressure on himself. But I mean, I think he'll relish being there, and hopefully he can give us a little bit more potency with the ball, as well. The old show and go Munster. I love to see the old twist off the left foot, way you go. And hopefully you get man of the match doing that.
Well,
I'm president of the
Harry Grant fan club
of the Munster fan club. I've done that, but Harry Grant, I was about to say, he's got an opportunity, and I think that there's going to be some wonderful chances for him to be able to do it. Munster will be standing a little bit wider, I should suspect, this time around, just to try and stretch the forwards to be marking up on him as closely as they possibly can, and that'll give him a chance on second, third, or the fourth tackle to be able to skate out of there if he can do that quite well. But as a group, I've got to say that that you could just pull one name out of the hat. The forwards need to dominate. They need to control. They need to dictate terms, and they need to be able to control it with perfect possession, not handing anything over to the opposition. And I think if they can control the pace of the game, we're in it for a long time.
Yeah, I think off the back of there with the forwards doing their job and really dominating through the middle. I think our little number 7, Tommy did, and get in there and spark that and be man of the match. I know we all see what he does. He's a competitor. He puts himself. He's always supporting. He's always in and around the footy. He tries his absolute heart out and puts himself in the picture every time. So I know Tommy will be out there doing everything he can to play well. And I think, again, if the forwards are doing their job, there's no reason that Tommy won't have a great game.
Now, just before we go, we should also acknowledge that Kurt Mann, when he runs onto the field on Wednesday night, becomes the second oldest debutant for Queensland, behind the late, great Arthur Beetson. So congratulations to Kurt Mann. And we should also congratulate our own here at the FOGS, Gene Moles, for becoming Sir Gene OAM in the Queen's Birthday Honours list. Of course, not Sir, just being facetious there. But so, well done, Gino, OAM. So well done to Gene Moles joining illustrious
When did
group.
you get one of them? Years ago, didn't you?
In the 80s it would have been for a while.
He deserves it, Gino.
He does.
He deserves it. He's one of those players. I remember when he came into the team for the first time in '82, I think it was, and did some wonderful things. And then he walked away from his family business in the dry cleaning to do the FOGS, and started something which has been a wonderful thing for kids in Queensland, and he's. I hate giving him a rap. He's one of those guys that certainly deserves everything about it. I think the opportunity that we have to take the game to schools all around the state has been fantastic, and Gino's certainly played a significant part in the decision making process of that, and. Good luck to him. I think he's going to enjoy retirement coming after this. He's in the OF club, the Old Fart Club.
Do we give him a little bit of curry though? Like he's the head selector, isn't he?
Head selector? Yeah. I told him he picked the wrong side for game one, and he rolled his eyes. But I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, we should congratulate Gino. And I know this might sound strange, and from a fan's perspective, no matter how highly rated as a player Gene was, I still think he's underrated as a player. That's how good he was. Even though he is highly rated, I still think he's underrated, if that makes sense.
No, that's right. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And he's had a fairly comfortable guidance officer there in Deb, his wife as well, who spoiled him rotten and made things very, very easy for him. But so congratulations, Gino.
Yeah, well done, Sir Gene, OAM. There you go. Gino. Now, that is it for our preview of Origin 1 Wednesday night in Perth. Thanks very much for your company. We'll be back on Thursday for our review. Hopefully, Gilly will be able to make it on Thursday for that.
Yeah.
You didn't bring a note either. You didn't bring a note.
I was given a few New South Wales blokes. That's right.
Tossed a few out the window, did you, Gil?
So we'll see you for our Origin review on June 19, Thursday. Enjoy Game 2. Thanks for watching this episode of the FOGS Queenslander Podcast. If there's a FOG you want to hear from, leave a comment to let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos.